Here's your Geico Mets starting lineup tonight. Curtis Granderson is under the weather, and so he was scratched from the lineup today. First time he's missed a game in over a month. So Eric Young will get the start in left field. Kirk Neuenhuis in right field. Probably the best defensive outfield the Mets can run out there against Erasmo Ramirez, making his 12th start of the year.
Well, there's a couple of stats on this Toyota stat line. 29 walks in 53 innings is not very good for Ramirez in the big leagues. He's also given up 10 home runs in those 53 innings. So, of course, light defense for the Mariners. Dustin Ackley, him had that great catch. James Jones, who can fly in center. And Endy Chavez, our old friend in right field. Seager, Bloomquist, Cano, and Morrison in the infield. Morrison, the former Marlin, and Mike Zunino with a long home run in yesterday's ball game behind the plate.
Eric Young's first start since the 10th of July, 12 days ago. He's been kind of a forgotten man with the emergence of Kirk Neuenhuis and the crowd in the Mets outfield. Mets are very short on the bench tonight. Chris Young hurt his leg last night, probably unavailable. Granderson, we mentioned, is ill. First pitch of the night from Ramirez is inside, and we're underway. You play shorter on your bench in the American League anyway with the DH, so it basically leaves the Mets tonight with a two-man bench. Anthony Recker and Eric Campbell. That doesn't come into play as much either, since you don't have to pinch hit for your pitcher. There's your umpiring crew. The young Corey Blazer behind the plate. Crew chief Jim Joyce at first. Marvin Hudson and Doug Eddings rounding out the crew. 1-1 to Young, who's hitting at .235. And Ramirez gets ahead of him 1-2.
You know, Gary, I was just thinking with Jacob pitching tonight, Jacob deGrom, the Mets at a disadvantage with the pitcher not hitting in this game.
Look, you're allowed to let your pitcher hit.
Oh, wow.
You can make him the DH.
That would be that would really make Bobby Abreu mad.
And somebody, there's Felix Hernandez, who we saw the last time the Mets played the Mariners, knows how to hit. Robinson Cano throws out Eric Young for the first out of the night. Remember that back in 2008 at Shea, the Mariners came to town, and Felix Hernandez hit a grand slam off Johan Santana.
It's a right center field, I believe.
One out and nobody on. Now Daniel Murphy 1 for 5 last night. Murphy in a post All-Star game slumber, 3 for his last 23. The one Met who went to the All-Star game this year. Ramirez began the year with the Mariners and has been up and down several times. This is probably just a one-day stint in the big leagues for him. They brought him up to get the spot start tonight, and they're probably going to send him right back down to AAA and bring up Taijuan Walker to start tomorrow afternoon. It's got to be an odd feeling for a pitcher who pretty much knows he's here on a one-day pass.
It's a difficult thing, especially when he's been up 4 times now already for Ramirez. But you know what? You try to open eyes any way you can, and you're grateful to get a start for the team.
Well, the goal this week for Lloyd McClendon was to get his top 2 pitchers an extra day of rest. Hisashi Iwakuma was originally supposed to go tomorrow, and then Felix Hernandez Thursday, but he's pushed them both back a day.
Iwakuma complained of some soreness. That's why they pushed him back.
Murphy lifts one to left, and Ackley over toward the line. Awkward, but he grabs it for the second out. So Ramirez is set down the first 2, and now David Wright. David 2 for 5 last night with an RBI as he celebrated his 10th anniversary of his big league debut. He had the only RBI for the Mets in the game last night. His 50th of the season. He's 1 ahead of Lucas Duda for the club lead in RBIs. The last time Ramirez started in the big leagues, it was June 24th. That was against the Red Sox, and he walked 5 batters in 4 1/3.
After that first pitch, David was complaining to the umpire and Zunino that he was having trouble seeing. Remember last night's game, the sun comes right in the batter's eye in the first inning.
There was some misting rain earlier in the day here in Seattle, which is not uncommon, and so they had the umbrella roof closed, but then the sun came out. They opened up the roof, and there's still lots of sunlight filtering in as we play in the early evening. Slider misses inside, and it's 3-1. And there's ball 4, so Wright draws a 2-out walk. And the Mets have the first base runner of the night. Now Lucas Duda. Lucas 1 for 4 last night. He's hit in 5 straight games. Mets have been running with Duda in the cleanup spot and Darno 5th. They split him up tonight with Abreu on deck. See the triangle defense against Duda. And Lucas takes a fastball for a strike.
Interesting, they moved third baseman Seager over to the right of second base. Keep Bloomquist in his position at short and Cano out in right field.
Softball, that would make Cano number 10 on your scorecard.
That's right.
There's a good changeup by Ramirez, and he gets ahead on Duda 0-2.
First changeup we've seen from Ramirez. What he's going to do, he's got a good sinking fastball and changeup to left-handed hitters, and the fastball slider to right-handed hitters.
On the outside corner, he went right back to the changeup, and he gets Duda to end the inning. First strikeout for Erasmo Ramirez. Jacob deGrom heads to the mound for the bottom of the first. No score in Seattle. With left-handers tonight against Jacob deGrom. Eddie Chavez, the former Met who did not start last night against the lefty, in there tonight, as is Logan Morrison, the former Marlin, against deGrom, who was on an absolute roll going into the break.
And I said before, the left-handers are good for him. As you see, as Caesar's numbers, they only hit 234 off him this season. The last home run he gave up to a left-hander was on May 31st to Ryan Howard. So deGrom's done a nice job of controlling lefties.
So here's Endy, who came in the game for defense last night, made a nice catch on the warning track, takes the first pitch fastball for a strike from deGrom. Chavez was in the minor leagues earlier this year, but now making his 32nd start for the Mariners, hitting at .262. Chavez now 36 years old in his 13th big league season, with 7 different teams as he waves at that fastball. And he spent 3 years as a Met, 06, 07, 08, and he was a memorable performer.
Yes, he was.
Tremendous defensive outfielder, as we all know. And a 0-2 pitch smacked into center field as deGrom left a changeup up, and Endy Chavez on with a leadoff hit.
There's just a young person pitcher's mistake. An 0-2 pitch, of course, you don't want to give up a hit. But why, after you've just thrown a fastball right by him to get to 0-2, would you come back with a changeup? Just those are the things, mistakes that you make when you're a young pitcher.
So Chavez aboard, and now the other speedster in this Seattle lineup, James Jones, the Brooklyn native. who went 1 for 4 last night. David Wright in at third. Jones very adept at laying down a bunt. And he takes a fastball for a strike. Robinson Cano waiting on deck, so it's an early pivotal moment for DeGrom after giving up the leadoff hit. And Jones gets tied up, but it missed. Ball and a strike. DeGrom's last start was on the 13th against Miami. As you look at Cano on deck, so that's 9 days ago. Gave up a run and 5 hits, struck out 8 over 7 innings, and a 9-1 Mets win.
Well, the Mets have been monitoring DeGrom's innings and all that. So I think those 9 days they welcomed giving him a little bit of a break. It's almost like missing a start.
And he was did 2 bullpen sessions during those 8 days off. So he's probably as ready to go after a long break as anybody has been. Double play ball right at Murphy. Gets it out of his glove, and they cannot double up Jones. He just gets down the line too fast. Murph had that ball cleanly, but you could see a lot of white as he tried to make the transfer.
Well, you see, he did not catch it clean. It was rolling up his glove. So he did well just to get the ball to second base to Tejada. But I know Jones is fast. This has got to be turned. Just it's not. And the problem you have there, you have Jones on now. Got so much speed. Could steal a base and get in scoring position. Have to turn 2.
Jones 18 steals and 19 tries. Question is, do you want him to steal and close that hole for Cano? Cano 1 for 4 last night, had a double in 4 trips. Hitting at .334, second in the American League.
You know, before the game, Robinson Cano was using a drill that Curtis Granderson has used with the Mets. It's a Kevin Long drill. You see that cage is right in the middle there of the outside corner of home plate. What it does is it teaches you to get your bat speed going, not to hit the cage, so you make sure that you get your bat through and stay inside the baseball. It's that home run drill that Curtis Granderson got to get going with the Mets.
Yeah, Curtis started using that drill when he was at his low ebb with the Mets. Brought out that drill that he had learned with the Yankees hitting coach, and it kind of turned his season around. 0-1 to Cano. Takes a strike. For Jacob deGrom, this is only his second start against an American League team. His first one, you remember, was his debut at Yankee Stadium against Masahiro Tanaka. He lost the game 1-0, but he certainly opened a lot of eyes that day. And now facing the former Yankee Cano.
Little indecision there between Travis d'Arnaud and Jacob deGrom. Cano will do that to you sometimes.
Long hold. Jones is running. Cano hits it down the left field line. Young over in the corner, slides. It's a foul ball.
Great try by Eric Young. He was playing off that line, had to go a long way. And another 0-2 pitch, just too good by Jacob deGrom.
That said, I don't know how many other hitters come that close to getting that ball in fair territory.
Right. He's as good as a hitter as his generation of players.
Lifetime .311 hitter. 211 career home runs over 9 seasons, plus a half year here in Seattle. Hasn't hit for quite the power with the Mariners. Different kind of ballpark. Jones was running the last pitch, and deGrom will check in on him. deGrom's given up 6 stolen bases in 9 tries.
You know, if you're Terry Collins, or you could really think about pitching out here. 0-2.
40 home runs, 40 doubles, 25 home runs. You know, up among some elite performers.
Might have trouble getting to 25 home runs this year here in this Safeco ballpark.
He's got just 7, but he's driven in 57 runs. And you combine that with the 66 that Kyle Seager has on deck, and you know, for a Seattle offense that's been mired in the bottom half of the American League all year, they've got some prime performers driving in runs in the middle of their order. Jones at first and 1 out. Takes a healthy lead, not going, and the breaking ball just missed. 1-2.
Well, like all great hitters, you have to at some point make them leery of the ball inside. He has not thrown a pitch inside yet to Cano as DeGrom.
1-2 coming. Curveball fouled at the plate. And Cano able to stay in there.
Good breaking ball. Down just enough. It's good hitters. They foul off those tough pitches.
Jacob deGrom over his last 5 starts has sported a 1.65 ERA. That's how tough he's been. And at his toughest with men on base. 7th pitch of the at bat, and Cano takes it in the dirt with Jones running. He slides into second, so he'll have to stay there as that ball eluded d'Arnaud. So a stolen base for James Jones, his 19th of the year.
See, where the runner is going sometimes, this is a good changeup from DeGrom down. The catcher occasionally will try to backhand that so he has a play at second base, but d'Arnaud not able to come up with that changeup.
Thing is, though, once that ball hits the dirt, you've got no chance of throwing him out anyway. You might as well block it.
You're right, but that's how a catcher thinks. They still are staying in that mode of trying to throw the ball to second.
So the stolen base for Jones puts a runner in scoring position for Cano. It's hitting .359 with runners in scoring position. It's 3rd best in the American League. 2-2 coming. And he checks a swing. The slider is down. It's a full count.
Pretty good at bat here by Cano.
He's fouled off a couple of tough ones, taken a couple of very close ones.
It's the breaking ball down. Most hitters swing it or at least offer that pitch, not Cano.
This will be the 9th pitch of the at bat from DeGrom to Cano. He struck him out. DeGrom fans Cano for the 2nd out.
Well, you're looking for answers on why DeGrom is so good with runners in scoring position. This is the reason. A circle change on a 3-2 count from a rookie pitcher to one of the best hitters in the American League. Awful good pitching by DeGrom.
So now 2 away. Jones still at second. And here's Kyle Seager, who drove in a couple of runs last night. 66 RBIs for the year. That's 9th in the American League. And he has been a red-hot hitter. And a fastball strike to Seager.
We see the Lexus Mets defense. Young, Lagares, Neuenhuis, best probably defensive outfield. Right to Otto Murphy and Duda at first base. Campbell played first base last night. And d'Arnaud, of course, behind the plate.
d'Arnaud's caught every game since the break. Anthony Recker will probably get a start tomorrow in the day game. Rom gave up a leadoff hit to Andy Chavez on a 0-2 changeup, and he's been pitching in trouble ever since. Jones at second and 2 out. And Seager takes it wide. Kyle Seager, 3rd round pick out of the University of North Carolina, played with Matt Harvey and of course his teammate Dustin Ackley. They were all at Carolina together.
What a team they must have had. Whoa. Well, if I were pitching coach coming into this game talking to DeGrom, I would say, hey, listen, do not let Cano, do not let Seager beat you. Let the other guys go after them, but these are their main RBI machines.
2-1 coming. Curveball. And he gets even 2-2.
And that's part of it, right? You're facing a tough hitter, 66 RBIs, 2-1 count. He's never faced Jacob deGrom. He thinks he's going to get a fastball 2-1 from a guy who throws 95. What does he get? It's a changeup.
So deGrom trying to get himself through this inning unscathed. 2-2 coming to Seager. Got him. Went right back to the changeup. Back-to-back strikeouts for deGrom as he gets Cano and Seager with a runner in scoring position. Good start for Cano. No score in Seattle. Mobile phone or tablet, get live look-ins, instant replays, scores, stats, audio, free MLB.tv game of the day, and more. Download on the App Store or visit Mets.com today. Bobby Abreu serving as the DH tonight. It'll be Abreu, Darno, and Neuenhuis for the Mets in the second.
259, but Abreu, when he starts games, is batting over 300.
His bat has certainly cooled down lately. Really has struggled as a pinch hitter, which frankly was supposed to be his primary role when he got here. Now in a crowded outfield situation, it's hard to get him a whole lot of playing time, but the DH is allowing him to do that, and he slashes one the other way and promptly gets himself a hit. Ackley takes it near the line, and he'll hold Abreu to a single. So Bobby Abreu with an opposite field hit, the Mets' first hit of the night.
Well, just the fastball. See that coming off? That's the two-seam fastball running away. And that is not a pitch you can throw to Abreu because he's just so adept at taking that ball and hitting it where it's pitched and going that other way. Beautiful swing. Playing Seager way off the line, and it cost him.
So the Mets' first hit of the game. They didn't have a hit in the first inning tonight. Last night, the Mets had exactly one hit in all 9 innings, which is a rarely accomplished feat. There's Darno, and he takes a strike. Last night was only the 7th time in the last 50 seasons that a major league team had exactly one hit in all 9 innings. Interestingly, 2 of those teams won the game where they had exactly one hit in all 9 innings, and one of those was the Mets. They beat the Orioles in a game in 1998 in which they had exactly one hit in each inning.
Well, it's not a good slider because you see that big dot. It should be a smaller dot, but it was enough to get past Darno.
D'Arnaud had 2 hits last night, and he whacks this one into center, but on comes Jones. He can't get it, and it'll roll all the way back to the wall. Abreu racing for third. He's going to be waved home. No relay throw. Abreu scores. It's a triple for Travis d'Arnaud, and the Mets have a 1-0 lead. I knew it. James Jones with the do-or-die effort comes up empty, and the Mets get an early run.
He just didn't make the decision till too late. This ball hit on the line from d'Arnaud. When it's hit that hard, sometimes as a center fielder you feel like it's going to stay up. We talked about it last night. The outfielders play really deep here for the Mariners, and it cost Jones and the Mariners. That, if you're going to come in on that baseball, and I know it's not easy, you have to try to catch that in front of you. Because if you catch it in front of you and you miss it, it might hit your body and stay in front.
First major league triple for Travis d'Arnaud. The infield stays back for Nieuwenhuis with a runner at third and nobody out. Last night, Lloyd McClendon played his infield in
when he had a 1-run lead.
Here behind by a run and not playing his infield in. Nieuwenhuis badly fooled on that one. 1-1. Kirk playing right field tonight. First time he started there with Curtis Granderson under the weather tonight. Curtis was up all night, had a real bad stomach bug. Hoping to be able to play tomorrow. And now Ramirez ahead 1-2. 24-year-old Erasmo Ramirez.
This is where we'll see. You can see third less than 2 out. Perfect for Kurt. We'll see if he can employ that new swing where he cuts down and puts the ball in play.
Zunino, who blocked the ball very nicely last night, able to get in front of that one. Juan Lagares sitting 8th in the order. He will be next. With that 0 for their last 20 against Ramirez with runners in scoring position. 2-2 coming, and he strikes out Nieuwenhuis with a changeup. Second strikeout for Ramirez. That's the first out of the inning.
Well, both pitchers' most effective pitches so far for DeGrom and Ramirez has been that circle change.
So 1 out. Now Lloyd McClendon's going to bring his infield in with Juan Lagares at the plate. Lagares 1 for 4 last night. And Ramirez beats him with the inside fastball, 0-1.
You know, there are some teams in baseball, Gary, now that have sheets on when to bring the infield in and when to keep it back. I'm thinking one thing that might work in his favor here, the left-hander Nieuwenhuis was up. Maybe he played his defense back. Now with 1 out, righty-righty matchup, going to be a little more aggressive with the infield in.
So you think maybe you get weaker contact with a right-hand batter on?
That's what I'm thinking.
Makes some sense. Well, what works best for Ramirez here, if he can get another strikeout, he's ahead 0-2 on Lagares. Ruben Tejada hitting 9th in the order, waiting on deck. Abreu led off with a base hit. d'Arnaud with a triple to bring him in. Lagares trying to plate that run. Just got a piece of that to stay alive.
You know what I find really interesting about infields in, you know, with all the math and everything they're supposed to have, never takes into account the speed of the runner on third. They always play in the same position. It doesn't matter if a guy can fly on third or a guy is slow on third base. They always play just behind the grass. Oh.
Towels at the ready.
Anticipating.
Well, that does make some degree of sense. I mean, it would make sense to play a step or two further back with a slower runner at third.
Exactly. I had this argument with Davey Johnson once. I lost it then, too.
Well, there's one thing I'd say about that. Went after the pitch. Lagares fouls that one off. If you play a step or two behind the edge of the grass, then you risk that ball coming off the lip.
That's definitely true. You just hope that your infielders at this level can, you know, make that adjustment.
And the lips are not nearly as pronounced as they used to be. That was probably more of a problem 20 years ago. d'Arnaud at third and 1 out. Lagares has kept himself alive a couple of times on 0-2. Again.
Let's say if you were a David Eckstein during his playing days. He had a different arm than maybe Troy Tulowitzki, who plays the same position. So, you know, there's a lot of factors that I think should be used or not used.
One and two to Lagares. Miami beat Atlanta tonight 6-5. Jacob Turner returning to the rotation and going 5 solid innings for the Marlins. 1-2 in the dirt, and again Zunino slides over nicely to stop it.
It's that changeup again that Ramirez is trying to get Lagares to swing at, but not even close. Zunino's a big guy, and he shows that he's quite nimble behind there.
Eighth pitch of the at bat to Lagares, and he takes that one in the dirt. So Lagares, after falling behind 0-2, fouled off 3 pitches in a row. Now he's worked the count full.
What the catchers will do, well, they'll have the weight on the inside of their feet so they can slide over really quickly. The shin guards, you can almost hear him up here as he slides across to get in front of the ball.
3-2 coming, and Lagares takes the slider low, ball 4. Nice turn at bat for Lagares. He works out the walk. The second one given up by Ramirez. A bit of a towel wave for a walk.
If they wave the towel when the Met gets hit by a pitch, then I'm going to call all bets off.
Rick Waits, the Mariners pitching coach, out to the mound. Rick, who spent a number of years as the Mets minor league pitching coordinator. Of course, we talked about it last night. The Mets flavor on this Mariners coaching staff, with Howard Johnson as their hitting coach and Rick Waits their pitching coach. Chris Woodward,
that's right,
is on the coaching staff. Jason Phillips is their bullpen catcher. Rich Donnelly, who managed in the Mets farm system, is the third base coach.
Well, I think what Waits probably went out there to tell Ramirez is trust your fastball. You've got a good two-seamer. What is your situation? You have one out. You need a ground ball.
Ruben Tejada 1 for 3 last night. First and third and 1 out. A run home here in the second. And Ruben yanks one foul. It's been a struggle for Ruben over the last week or so. Just 2 for his last 18, and he's had a number of these RBI situations on this road trip that have been bypassed. Darno at third, Lagares at first, and 1 out. And the breaking ball hit to shallow left. That may fall in. It does for a base hit. Darno racing home. The throw by Ackley will not be in time, and it's 2-0 New York. Darno had to go back to tag, and so Ackley thought maybe he had a chance to get him at the plate. But Darno able to easily beat it home, and Tejada with an RBI hit makes it 2-0.
Well, we saw a lot of these hits last night dropped in front of the outfield. Just a slider, as you see the grip, the ball coming out of the fingers of Ramirez, and he threw it slow, and Tejada hit it slow. And just dropped it in front of Ackley. Darno, there's nothing he can do there. He has to tag up in case there's a great catch made. And once it wasn't, he still had plenty of time to get home.
And Zunino smartly coming out in front of the plate to field that ball so the other runners couldn't move up. So now Lagares at second, Tejada at first, 2 runs home in the inning, and now Eric Young, who grounded out to open the game. And at his feet with a slider, ball 1.
So at first, I think when it came off the bat, Darno's thinking maybe the shortstop might have a play. But then he gets the read, of course, and Ackley, he threw it home, but there was no play.
Ackley's still a very inexperienced outfielder, despite the highlight reel catch he made last night on Darno. Chopped slowly. Ramirez is only playing first, and he gets Eric Young. Quick thinking by Ramirez. He looked over at third base, but had to adjust his sights quickly to make sure he got the speedy Young.
Well, he got turned around. See, he lost sight of that baseball, was thinking maybe of going to third, but had no play. We've seen some strange pitching fielding in the last week.
About the Yankee starter last night. 3 errors from Shane Green.
Boy, it's that they got it. Whatever that it is, that mental thing of being able to throw the bases.
Sassaritis. Here's Murphy with 2 in scoring position. Murph flied to left his first time up. Lagares at third, Tejada at second, and Murphy waits on it and flies it out to left. Ackley with an easy play, and that retires the side. But the Mets grab the early lead. Bobby Abreu gets aboard, and Travis d'Arnaud. One that eludes James Jones. D'Arnaud's first. Against Jacob deGrom, who's now been staked to a 2-0 lead. Hart, the former Milwaukee Brewer, who sat out all of last year with knee surgeries on both knees. 1 for 3 last night, and he takes a strike. Hart DHing against deGrom, who early in the season picked the wrong days to pitch. In his first 10 starts, the Mets scored 25 runs. Hart hits one in the air, deep left center. Lagares back, and plenty of room to make the catch. But his last couple of starts, deGrom has picked the right days to pitch on. Mets scored 17 runs in his last 2 starts, and they've given him an early 2-0 lead in this game.
Well, you can see that's the 4-seamer riding fastball up in the strike zone. He almost did not get away with that. His Hart just missed hitting that ball out. You know, in the offseason, Jack Zrinczyk went out and he thought the bats he needed were going to be Hart and Morrison. Here they are back to back. They've really not provided a lot for this Mariners team.
Morrison hitting just .222. You know, you go back and you look at the start of Logan Morrison's career. He came up in 2010. He was 21 years old. He had .283. In the 4 years since, he's hit .238. He just has never blossomed into the kind of hitter the Marlins thought that he was going to be when he first came up.
It's been a little better of late. His first 20 games for the Mariners, he hit .164. He's hit .265 since then in 21 games, but still not the kind of production they were looking for.
Still a relatively young player. He's only 26. David Wright with a diving stop. And he throws him out, 2 away. Yeah, Wright playing off the line, perfectly positioned, and a step and dive to get him.
It's interesting. David caught this ball almost behind him, but was able to catch it cleanly and then make the throw to first base. I mean, it's huge for a pitcher. DeGrom's missed with a couple pitches. Long fly ball to center. The Lagares covered, and a great play in the infield by Wright.
By the way, it's not the best play David's ever made here.
I have not seen that. It was
the dive into the stands?
No.
Oh. Well, you know about the one in San Diego,
That's
right?
the barehanded one,
barehanded
right?
one against Brian Giles going out into left field and diving. This one, you remember the Jeter play where Jeter caught the ball at Fenway and then dove into the stands?
Yes.
David's, he dove into the stands to catch the ball. He was 2 rows deep and hit very hard against a seat and was able to catch the ball and hang on and hurt himself in the process. But it was spectacular. And there's a lot of room between the line and the stands in foul territory here. And he was at a dead sprint and then dove into the stands headlong. He was 22 at the time. He might not be able to do that now. Another nice play by Wright, and he throws out Willie Bloomquist and helps Jacob deGrom to a 1-2-3 second inning. 2-0 Mets. City probables for tomorrow's day game. Bartolo Colon coming back from the upset stomach that ruined his last start in San Diego against the young phenom for the Mariners, Taijuan Walker, who's been up and down for Seattle both at the big league and minor league level this year. David Wright leads off in the third. Mets with a 2-0 lead and a good breaking ball by Ramirez to start him off.
I was thinking that Taijuan Walker is like the Noah Syndergaard for the Mariners, and Noah Syndergaard has been kind of up and down this season also.
Syndergaard's got 5 scoreless innings tonight for Las Vegas.
They're just playing around the corner, right?
They're down in Tacoma. You know, most major league teams aspire to have their AAA team close by. Mets used to have that in Norfolk or in Buffalo. Now they have to fly a player across the country to bring somebody up from the minor leagues. This would be the best time
to make a move.
Because they're only 35 miles away. Here's the 1-2 coming to right, up and in. It's twice already tonight that Erasmo Ramirez has run one in on David Wright.
He's trying to set up that slider away.
And he takes it away, but right at Cano, 1 out. Your Verizon trivia question for tonight: the only 3 players to play 200 or more games for the Mets and the Mariners.
3 players.
3 players. Now,
I know 2 right off the top of my head.
There very shortly may be a 4th within the next couple of weeks.
One was, well, they both were extremely popular Mariner players. And they were popular Mets players too, but they were real popular. Those are the two guys that stick out right away.
Well, the one I know who you're talking about. I'm not sure who the other you're talking about. Lucas Duda slugs one to center field, but James Jones is there and puts it away 2-out.
One was a first baseman. I think that's the guy you thought I was thinking. And then the other one was a.
No, the one I thought you were thinking of was the center field.
Yes, well, I was thinking about those two.
Here's Bobby Abreu, who had a base hit and scored the first Met run, serving as the DH tonight.
I think personally, when I just start to discuss these trivia things, I make it worse.
Well, you're trying to be oblique and you're trying to show us that, you know.
Maybe I know.
Maybe we know and maybe we don't. It reminds me of when we had the battle of the broadcaster.
Yeah.
There was a round where we could confer, and you only had 6 seconds to confer. None of us knew what we were talking about.
Yeah, exactly. You think that
it didn't always go well.
You think that after what we do up here, we'd be very good at being collaborative, but we weren't.
Well, we're not used to limiting it to 6 seconds. Travis d'Arnaud would be next. Erasmo Ramirez looking for his first 1-2-3 inning of the night. And he gets even on Abreu, 2-2.
It's really the same pitch that Abreu hit for a base hit in his first at bat, but this time just running a little further outside.
Two. Got him with the slider. Ramirez strikes out Abreu to end the inning, his third strikeout. He's got that first 1-2-3 inning of the night. Middle of the third in Seattle, 2-0 Mets.
throw to the plate will be late. The Mariners are going to play for the American League Championship. I don't believe it. It just continues. My, oh my.
The year that saved baseball in Seattle, 1995. The voice of the great late Dave Niehaus Calling Edgar Martinez's 2-run double off Jack McDowell to win that American League Division Series.
Dave's call with the bases loaded when they would hit a home run, a grand slam. What was his call?
Get out the rye bread and mustard. It's salami time.
It's salami time. It's grand salami time. It's salami time.
But you know, we talked about it last night. The Mariners were such a desolate franchise, and that Kingdome was such a dreary place for so many years. But it all changed that year when they finally won their first playoff series and beat the Yankees. And there's the statue of Dave Niehaus, who passed away a couple of years ago. Dustin Ackley leading off. Lines one, and David Wright's there again. 3 straight plays for David. Playing off the line at third base, 1 out.
Well, perfectly positioned has been David the last 3 outs. You know, it's interesting when you're watching that game. That was the last playoff game that Derek Jeter wasn't the shortstop. Tony Fernandez made that throw in. Gerald Williams was the left fielder. That was Jack McDowell with the hanging fork ball to Edgar Martinez.
Yeah, he didn't want to face Edgar Martinez in a big spot. No. Here's Mike Zunino, who takes a strike. Zunino, first time up last night, parked one on the upper deck in left field. Here's Edgar's.
He's got a sign. He's got a street out in front here.
In fact, the ballpark is located at the corner of Edgar Martinez Way and Dave Niehaus Lane, or something like that. Zunino grounds one in the hole. Tejada stays on the backhand and throws him out, 2 away. So DeGrom, after giving up a leadoff hit to Andy Chavez, has proceeded to retire 8 in a row.
It's when Ruben makes those kind of throws when he has the backhand. And they really don't talk about his arm. He's got a wonderful arm from the hole.
And I think we've seen that more this year than we have in a couple of years. I just think as his confidence has grown, as he's played better, he's been less tentative with his throws.
Letting it go.
Here's Andy Chavez with a base hit up the middle to lead off the first inning for Seattle. Bluffs at a bunt and takes a strike. Yeah, he knows how to bunt. Andy, a lifetime .269 hitter. Has never walked a whole lot, and that has made him a less than ideal leadoff hitter. Remember when he was in Washington, he was there when you were there in 05, right? That they were after him to bunt more and get on base more, and he never quite got it to be that consummate leadoff hitter.
Much to Frank Robinson's chagrin, to tell you the truth. Frank thought he should have been a better player.
Then he came to the Mets the next year. The problem that we ran into with Endy, and here's David Wright going over near those stands, but not this time, is that he's got some occasional power.
Yeah.
We talked about him hitting that 3-run homer in David Wright's debut for the Expos 10 years ago.
Well, I think that's why he was a perfect player for the Mets in 06, because they had such a good hitting team that they didn't need him to be, you know, such a major focus. They needed his defense.
Needed his glove. And you know, if Cliff Floyd had been healthy, he might not have been out there to make that catch. Yep. Chopped out to short. Tejada on the charge. Gets Andy Chavez. 1-2-3 inning for DeGrom, who's now retired 9 in a row after 3, 2-0 New York. They love their fish here in Seattle. Travis d'Arnaud leads off in the 4th inning. Christmas in July or something. Travis hit a sinking line drive to center that James Jones misplayed into a triple. The first triple in the big leagues for d'Arnaud, and maybe a measure of revenge after having a home run taken away last night. I asked Travis before the game, which play did you like better? The one your brother made going over the fence for Indianapolis, or the one that Ackley made on you? He said, it doesn't matter as long as we stay 1-2 in the highlights.
Very good.
Me and Chase. You know, his brother Chase has always been an infielder. He was in the Pirates organization, now with Cleveland, and they're making him into an outfielder now to increase his versatility. And Travis is hoping that his brother will be in the big leagues before the end of the year. Inside 2-2.
Chase is his older brother, obviously.
Right. And he's had some big league time, but only spot duty with Pittsburgh. Good changeup by Ramirez to strike out d'Arnaud. That's 4 strikeouts for Erasmo Ramirez, and we check in with Kevin Burkhardt. Kevin?
One of the big reasons for the Mariners being so good this year has been their pitching. Really, the main reason, I should say. And Chris Young, the ex-Met, has been a huge part of that. I mean, really what he's done is nothing short of amazing at age 35. Coming back from 2 shoulder capsule surgeries to do what he's doing this year, and that has been great. He's really saved the Mariners bacon on quite a few occasions this year and been a stalwart in that rotation. You know, I spoke with Chris today, and guys, you know this. We got time when he was with the Mets. We spent time while he was rehabbing from that 2nd shoulder capsule surgery. And there's a lot of layers here. First of all, what changed him for good to get him back to this point was not only the shoulder coming back from that twice, but he still was having issues and pain in his right side. He told me that he couldn't even sleep on his right side for the last 5 years. And so he did a lot of searching himself. And basically, doctors diagnosed him with thoracic outlet syndrome. He had the surgery for it last year. He said, I woke up and for the first time, and I can't even remember, I didn't feel pain anymore on the right side. He said, for me, it was about just quality of life, not coming back to pitch. But once the pain went away, I said, hey, let's see how this feels. And here he comes back and pitching like he is. I asked what the most gratifying part about all this has been. He said, well, I think there's a few things. First of all, to be contributing to a team that's in the race and playing well, I think that's what every player's goal should be. And he has gotten so much support, texts from family, his friends, and teammates, as you would imagine. I told him to give me the one that really resonated with him through this whole process. He said, well, I saved one from Roy Halladay. He gave it to me about 2 months after I had that surgery with the Mets. And it was special to me for a lot of reasons. I look up to him. I think he's a tremendous competitor, but I also don't really know him. And the text that he sent read this: if anybody can make it back, I know you will. Focus on what you need to do each day, and you will be back better than ever. From a guy you don't even know, pretty inspirational stuff from Halladay to Young. Guys?
Well, Chris Young is, there's no disputing the fact. When he can get on the mound, he's a successful pitcher as you're going to want to have. But even more than that, I don't know if I've come across a better person in the game of baseball than Chris Young.
Neuenheim strikes out for the 2nd time. That's 3 consecutive strikeouts for Ramirez. Well, Chris Young has thrown 117 innings this year. I mean, that in and of itself is a remarkable feat, and he's done it at, well, the high level that he's always pitched at when he's been able to stay on the mound.
First strikeout via the fastball for Ramirez. The other 4 were changeups.
There's Juan Lagares, who walked his first time up. Chases one. Well, those are the numbers for Chris Young this year. Mets missing him in this series.
And a great whip, huh?
You know, you forget sometimes just how good he has been. We noted it in San Diego when Despaigne was working on that no-hit bid Sunday. Chris Young, as a Padre, 3 times took a no-hitter into the 8th inning. One of those times he took it into the 9th. I mean, you know, we saw him with the Mets have some success, but only in short spurts because he just wasn't able to stay healthy. But he is he's a terrific pitcher for a guy who, you know, is not going to light up a radar gun. There's a good curveball by Ramirez, and he strikes out the side in the 4th inning. So Erasmo Ramirez hitting his groove. He's had a great changeup all night. Both these pitchers tonight have had a lot of success with their changeups.
They're doing it in a little different way. You see that, one, the fingers of DeGrom on the left are much longer than Ramirez, and he's got more of that flat palm, so he's throwing that changeup to go straight down, as opposed to DeGrom's got it turned in a little bit, which means he turns it over a lot to get that spin to go away from the left-handed hitter. Cool shot, guys.
James Jones leads off in the home 4th. Jones beat out a potential double play ball, then stole a base in the 1st inning. That put DeGrom in jeopardy, but Jacob responded by striking out Cano and Seager, and he hasn't allowed a base runner since.
Interesting on that shot. The pitcher's hands are very much like their body. DeGrom is long and lean, has long and lean fingers, and Ramirez kind of short and stocky, and he's got the short and kind of stocky fingers.
To Jones. He fouls it away. James Jones out of Telecommunications High School in Bay Ridge. Went on to LIU. James Jones said something about playing the outfield in college that I had never heard before. As DeGrom strikes him out for the 1st out. 3rd strikeout for DeGrom. Jones played, some center field. He was also a pitcher at LIU. But he said playing in the city.
In Brooklyn.
Trying to catch fly balls with the sun glinting off the buildings. He said that's harder than any Arizona or Florida daytime sun in spring training.
Wow. Well, those games usually in college are played 5, 6 o'clock at night. Yeah.
But I'd never heard anybody say that before about playing the outfield on a city field, that the buildings come into play. Didn't have that problem in New Haven, did he?
Didn't have it in New Haven, and definitely didn't have it at Baker Field.
Hey guys, you want to talk about the arms on when he was a kid playing ball with a youth service in the city? He pitched on those teams with Pedro Beato and Dellin Betances. How about that?
It's pretty good staff right there.
Did not like that pitch. I thought that was a good slider, backdoor from DeGrom. just has that little spin to cut back over that outside corner.
0-2 coming to Cano. Got him. Another changeup to strike out Cano for the second time. Back-to-back strikeouts for DeGrom to start the fourth.
What a combination of pitches. Fastball, backdoor slider to get ahead, and then that changeup. See how he flicks it and pronates his arm over? And that ball not only has the speed taken off it, but runs a little bit away from Cano.
That's 11 in a row retired by DeGrom. 2 out and nobody on for Kyle Seager, who struck out his first time up. Starts him off with a curveball. Going to his fourth weapon.
He's got it working.
Seager struck out to end the first inning. Ball and a strike. Corey Hart would be next. Seager fouls one off Darno and back 1-2. Let's answer the Verizon trivia question. 3 players have played 200 or more games for the Mets and Mariners. Now I was thinking of Mike Cameron.
Okay, I had him. Olerud is the other guy I was thinking
and
about.
Stevie Henderson.
Oh, okay.
Now Olerud I think of more as a Blue Jay than as a Mariner, but he came here after he was with the Mets, and he's from here. He's from the Seattle.
That's right.
Now the guy who's going to get to that point.
Oh, that's Dave Henderson.
Dave Henderson's number.
That's my teammate with Oakland. He is the greatest. Hindu.
I was going to say that the guy who's going to join that club very soon is Andy Chavez.
Oh, that's right.
I think he's 8 games away from having 200 with the Mariners, and he's had over 200 with the Mets. So the next time we come here, there'll be another answer to that question. 3-2 to Seager, and he walked him. First walk given up by DeGrom after retiring 11 in a row. Now Corey Hart, who hit one deep to center field, that was caught his first time up.
The picture we had of Dave Henderson, he gets lost a lot in those good teams with the Oakland A's and 88, 89, those years.
Forget that. How about 86?
Well,
I mean, he was going to be the hero, right?
He was. But he reminds me, or Lagares reminds me a little of Dave Henderson. Real football kind of bodies and fantastic arms. Dave Henderson had as good an arm as anyone I've ever seen in center field.
Another big hit for a guy having a huge year. Jonathan Lucroy just hit a walk-off home run, his second of the game. Milwaukee beats Cincinnati 4-3. The Reds are plummeting.
He's having an MVP year, Lucroy. Going to see him in a couple days.
Brewers starting to right themselves after that rough stretch going into the All-Star break. There's a good slider by DeGrom, 1-2. The Reds have now lost 5 in a row.
Just a little dart of a slider. Doesn't have to be a big one if it's on the corner like that.
1-2 coming to Hart. Up and in, and he foul tipped it, held by Darno. Strike 3. 5 strikeouts for Jacob DeGrom. He strikes out 3 in that 4th inning. DeGrom rolling. Mets up 2-0 after 4. They get ready to start camp this Thursday on the jetsblog.com, part of the SNY.TV blog network. Ruben Tejada leads off in the 5th inning for New York against Erasmo Ramirez. Tejada drove in a run with a base hit in the 2nd when the Mets scored both their runs. It'll be Tejada, Eric Young, and Daniel Murphy for the Mets in the 5th as Ramirez pops one inside. Ramirez has struck out his last 4 batters. He's fanned 6 over the first 4 innings. Not really considered a big strikeout pitcher. But the Mets, after a stretch when they had that terrific homestand where they were striking out less, all of a sudden those strikeout numbers are back up again, coinciding with their offense browning out the last few days. Oh, and Tejada gets drilled on the arm, and he'll go down to first. Second batter Ramirez has hit this season, and the trainer is going to come out and have a look.
That was just the slider that did not slide. I'll take that back. The changeup again.
And Tejada is walking over back toward home plate, so he must feel as though this is something that he has to worry about. He didn't wait for the trainer to come to him.
That got him right on the outside part of the wrist where that hamate bone we always talk about. Watch where it hits him. Right on the outside of the hand, right like off the knuckle.
He's coming out of the game, I think.
We're going to see. And usually when you have an injury like that, you want to get it x-rayed. And, you know, the Mets without another infielder, Eric Campbell's there, backup shortstop.
Well, we mentioned the Mets are playing shorthanded anyway tonight with Curtis Granderson and Chris Young not available. That leaves only Campbell and Recker. Well, Tejada's going to stay in and run for the moment, but we'll see how that thing swells up and whether he'll be able to go out and play the field. Now, it's ironic, of course, because we just talked about the fact that the Mets AAA team is just a half-hour away in Tacoma, and Wilmer Flores has been tearing it up.
Yeah, red hot.
If the Mets need an infielder replacement, they can have one here tomorrow. But that's getting ahead of ourselves. Hopefully Tejada's okay. He and Logan Morrison exchanging notes. So now Eric Young will take the turn at bat. EY's 0 for 2, has grounded out twice. Seager in on the grass, anticipating perhaps a bunt, and he does lay one down the foul.
Well, this is what we see a lot from Eric Young with the guy on first, is that he'll try to lay that bunt down, and if it's not a hit, of course he's going to get the sacrifice. But look at his form. His left hand. His left hand is on, fingers are over the bat. Very dangerous.
Just ask David Cohn.
That's right.
Trying to bunt, got hit by Atlee Hammaker, broke his finger. Double play ball right at Cano, the backhand flip, and a nice turn by Bloomquist for the 4-6-3 double.
Well, there's no one smoother in the game at second base. That flip, that ball was on its way almost seemingly before he caught it. Because he gets himself in a position before he fields the ball where he's already got his weight on his right foot to shovel that ball to second base. Fast runner running, turn to double play easy.
To Murphy. I was just thinking there are plenty of other second basemen who make that backhand flip and the ball hangs in the air and it just doesn't get there as fast as they intended. And Murphy holds the swing 1-2.
But like I said, he's leaning that way. He's got his weight on his right foot. Did Murphy go here? Last night that maybe would have been a strike with Doug Eddings behind the plate.
Last night Eddings would have called it himself behind the plate. Today he didn't call it from third base. 1-2 to Murphy with 2 out. And Zunino needs a conversation.
These conversations have become out of control in the game. No need to have a conversation. Fastball, slider, or change. I mean, it's not that difficult. Look at Lloyd's probably even saying, "What's going on here?"
In Japanese baseball, they have rules limiting the number of times that a catcher can go to the mound.
They're going to have to do it.
So banked off Ramirez. Seager can't make the bare hand play, and Murphy has an infield hit. I think it got Ramirez on the foot. He's fine. Seager thought he should have had it, but Murph will take the hit.
Well, Ramirez, when he follows through, you can see how he's his legs are crossed, so he never gets in front of that ball. And Seager wasn't going to have a play anyway.
So 2 out and a runner at first. The Mets' 4th hit against Erasmo Ramirez. And now David Wright, who's walked and lined out to second, 0 for 1. Have you noticed, Ronnie, that Murph doesn't run anymore? First half of the season, he was running sometimes recklessly, but running often. Had 11 steals. I don't think he's had a stolen base in a month.
Well, you're talking about a guy who plays every day. Terry Collins was mentioning how David Wright tries to protect himself, so he's in there every day.
That's the 3rd time in this game that Erasmo Ramirez has dusted David Wright.
It's supposed to be a fastball away, I believe. Steve Zunino set up outside, and the ball is run back up and in.
So now David with a 2-0 advantage.
He might not know it because he's a rookie pitcher, but if you're watching this and you have some time and you're seeing your best hitter knocked back 3 and 4 times, you have to take care of it the next inning.
Does somebody have to say that to him?
I think for a young pitcher you might have to. Like, if you get a shot with 2 outs, I know it's a tight game, 2-0, you put someone on their rear end.
You don't have to hit him.
No.
On the corner with a breaking ball, 2-2.
And it happened on Sunday night. Hanley Ramirez got hit, and the very next inning, first hitter in a tight game, Kershaw hit Holiday.
Right.
We hit him in the right place, hit him in the rear end. Nothing brewing, but just letting 2 things: letting the other team know, do not hit our players, and second, letting Hanley Ramirez know, I protect you. You're an important part of this team.
Does it make a difference that you're playing a team that you're not going to see for another 3 years after tomorrow? Little tapper right back to Ramirez, and he takes care of David Wright to end the inning. Mets lead 1 aboard halfway through in Seattle, 2-0 Mets. Ruben Tejada able to stay in the game after getting drilled on the left hand by a pitch. So that's a good sign for the Mets.
It might have helped that it was a changeup instead of a 90-mile-an-hour fastball. Although it doesn't take much with those small bones in your hand.
So many players break that hamate bone over the course of their career. Logan Morrison pops one up, and David Wright waiting for it to come down. One pitch and one out for Jacob deGrom in the fifth. deGrom's given up only one hit. That was to the first batter he faced, an 0-2 changeup that he left up to Andy Chavez. Chavez singled up the middle, and deGrom hasn't allowed a hit since. Now Willie Bloomquist, who had a big night last night, 3 hits, including an RBI, and that earned him the start today against the right-hander, Brad Miller, who has really struggled offensively, staying on the bench. Bloomquist, a utility guy, getting his 32nd start, his 12th at shortstop tonight. This is essentially a very young Mariners team, but they've got 36-year-old Andy Chavez and 36-year-old Willie Bloomquist in the lineup tonight.
You know, they're 20-11 though when Bloomquist starts, so he's done his job.
And last night he was drilling it all night. He hit the ball hard his first time up today.
I never think of him as a great offensive player, but he was last night, and his first at bat.
Lloyd McClendon rolling with the hot hand.
Also, their young shortstop Brad Miller's made 14 errors, so that's been a problem.
Toward the hole and a base hit for Bloomquist, continuing to make his manager look brilliant. Just the second Seattle hit of the night, and both of them have come on 0-2 pitches.
You know, what's interesting is that Lucas, before that ball was hit, was leaning to his left. So not able to get over that ball in the hole.
So Bloomquist aboard with one out. He stole his first base of the year last night with Jonathan Neese on the mound. Here's Dustin Ackley, who lined out to David Wright his first time up. You know, Ackley and Kyle Seager both came out of North Carolina. They were taken in the same draft. Ackley was the number 2 overall pick, and then they got Seager in the 3rd round. Ackley was supposed to be the big star, but it has been Seager who has outflanked him to this point. Ackley, though, looked like an all-star last night. Mike Zunino waits on deck. Drilled to the gap in right center. That's going to go all the way back to the wall. Racing for third is Bloomquist. He's being waved home. Murphy heaves the relay home. It sails over d'Arnaud. deGrom has to get by him as well, and that enables Ackley to go to third. 2-1 New York. Dustin Ackley swinging a very hot bat in this series. 3 hits last night, an RBI double here. And Murphy making a really bad throw home.
Well, an unorthodox swing as he gets off on his front foot and just kind of hooks that ball into right center. Nice job by Lagares to play this one hop off the wall and get it into Murph. Now Murph's throw is just a sailor, and it goes off the glove of Travis d'Arnaud. That's why it got by deGrom. He deflected it. deGrom was in the right position.
And that enabled the tying run to move to third. Now the infield comes in for Mike Zunino. And deGrom misses away for ball 1. So it's a double, an RBI, then an error on Murphy, allowing Ackley to go to third. Well, deGrom in a spot where he needs a strikeout against a guy who strikes out a lot. But he's behind Zunino 2-0. Zunino 101 strikeouts this year. That's 7th in the American League. But we saw last night the kind of power he has. 14 home runs. Andy Chavez on deck.
Probably see a little 2-0 slider probably from deGrom here.
Comes inside with a fastball, and it's 3-0.
Let your young catcher swing 3-0 here.
does. And fouls him just over the dugout. I'm not sure I buy that.
Having him swing 3-0?
Because, you know, you got Chavez on deck. If they walk Zunino, you're not going to double up Endy, you know, unless you get a perfectly hit ball.
It's a manager who is a former catcher who liked to hit home runs. Give him the 3-0 hit sign to his catcher.
There you go. 3-1 from DeGrom. Popped it up. Ackley will tag at third, but it's much too shallow as Eric Young makes the catch, and Ackley merely fakes the go and has to get back to third. So Zunino unable to get it deep enough to get the run in, and now it's left to Chavez with 2 out.
It was interesting. Luckily, it was shallow enough because Lagares should really call that ball off of Eric Young because of the difference in their strength of arms.
Don't forget that Endy is very likely to try and bunt, even with 2 out, bunt for a hit to try and get that tying run in.
And he knows David's the better of the fielders on the corner, so if he does it, he might bring it towards Murphy and Duda and try to beat DeGrom to the base.
Chavez 1 for 2 tonight. Tying run at third and 2 out. And Endy with a big cut at the fastball, 0-1.
Endy's been behind the fastball so far this game off DeGrom.
DeGrom got ahead of him with a couple of fastballs in the first inning, then hung a changeup, and Endy got the base hit. Lifted down the left field line, slicing away from Young, and Eric to the sidewall, can't make the catch as he went into the crowd and made a friend. Nice effort by Eric Young, and the young man might have gotten the worst of it.
Well, you got to appreciate the effort by Young, who almost tried to steal that from a fan, but look at, he lands on the little one there in the front row.
Well, the fan's entitled to the ball on that side of the railing, and he got his glove on it first.
Yeah, no fans did anything wrong. The guy in yellow took a beating too.
If the ball is on the field side of the railing, then it can be fan interference. But as long as that ball is on the fans' side of the railing, it's fair game.
The guy in the yellow, that was like trying to return a punt and calling for a fair catch, and the guy knocking you over.
DeGrom trying to put the brakes on this inning. 0-2. And he hangs in there. Brother should at least give him the ball. Here's the 0-2. Popped up foul. That'll come back out of play.
I don't think DeGrom should get away from the changeup that he gave up to hit to Endy, but if he's going to throw it, just concentrate on bouncing it. Do not throw for a strike.
Trust your catcher with a runner at third. Again, the 0-2. Slap to second. Murphy's got the roller. Side retired. Mariners get a run, but DeGrom able to stop the bleeding. Mariner fans getting to meet the Met. Hello. the action and fun of 2 amazing theme parks, plus stay on site at the new Universal Cabana Bay Beach Resort. Just go to sny.tv/Toyota and enter the Toyota Fan Flyaway Sweepstakes for your chance to win. Lucas Duda leads off in the 6th inning and laces a base hit into center field. So Lucas, who more and more has been looking for that first pitch in his hitting zone, has himself a leadoff hit.
Well, I like the aggressiveness. You know we do. First pitch fastball hitting. The guy who's throwing him a lot of changeups. He throws a fastball first pitch. Be ready. And Duda was.
So the Mets have their 5th hit against Erasmo Ramirez. And now Bobby Abreu, who led off the 2nd inning with a base hit and came in to score on Travis d'Arnaud's triple. Mets have now had the leadoff man on 3 of 6 innings. Abreu 1 for 2 on the night. Let's check in with Kevin.
Well, we always talk about Abreu's patience. His thinking is a little different than most. He told me that hitting with 2 strikes relaxes him. Can't say anyone ever told me that before. The other thing that he said is that his first step out of the game, he didn't do it tonight. He got that hit on a 1-1 pitch, I believe. He said he actually, if he can, prefers to go 3-2 because he loves to make the pitcher throw everything he has at first at bat. It makes him feel comfortable later in the game. So a guy that actually gets more comfortable deeper in the count he goes.
Very rare. I mean, most guys don't want to get to 2 strikes. If you get to 2 strikes, you could strike out.
Well, Abreu's he's a low panic guy when it comes to hitting.
He's a guy that you probably think in his prime in the batter's box, his standing heart rate was about 45, right? 50. Just does not panic and really lets the pitcher tip his hand. That's what he is. He's a great poker player as a hitter.
The Bjorn Borg of baseball.
Without the headband.
Yeah. Flies one out to left, and Ackley's right there. 1 out. So, Kev, your first time around Safeco Field. What are your impressions?
Yeah, I'm a huge fan, Gary. I mean, it's right up there. I think it's vaulted itself into my top 5 already. I haven't even seen every nook and cranny. I'm going to walk around a little bit more, but this place has a great feel. You know, it really does. There's a tremendous amount of food and concessions, and all the views are great. And then we saw it today when we walked in. You had known about this and told me about it, but I actually love how the roof is open on the sides, how it acts as that giant umbrella. I think even if it rains, it still gives you a feel like you're outside. I think that's a real plus.
Well, we'll find that out tomorrow. It's supposed to pour here and be chilly tomorrow, and they'll put the umbrella roof over, but it'll still be chilly in the ballpark.
But it's very pretty. There's not too many bells and whistles, just enough, you know.
Now, no supermarket, right? Not like in San Diego.
Well, unfortunately not. So if you're looking for tri-tip tonight, Gary, you're out of luck.
You know, I bet you can find some pretty good local delicacies, though. Seafood is so great in this town.
Yeah, it really is.
1-1 to d'Arnaud, who tripled in a run in the 2nd inning. There goes Duda, and it goes to the backstop. A fortuitous time for Lucas Duda to be taking off. Don't know if that was a design hit and run play, but it has the effect of a stolen base for Duda, his 3rd of the year.
Well, it couldn't have been a straight steal. Boy, not even close there by Ramirez.
Good thing the mechanical bull wasn't there.
Just a bit outside.
Wasn't quite 50 Cent.
All right.
And d'Arnaud gets nicked by the pitch. A breaking ball that didn't break. Second batter that Ramirez has hit in the last 2 innings.
It's just his breaking ball has not broke the entire game. He has not had a good slider.
So the Mets now with 2 men on, and Kirk Neuenhuis coming up. And Neuenhuis, after that hot streak, has really cooled down. He struck out both at bats today, 0 for his last 11. Rick Waits, the pitching coach, going out to see Ramirez. Nobody up in the Seattle bullpen as yet. Ramirez at 91 pitches. Now, Ramirez had not pitched in the big leagues in about a month, but he's been right on his regular day in AAA. He pitched last Thursday through 99 pitches in 6 innings in AAA for Tacoma. Mariners coming into the day 8.5 back in the West, but they are in the second wild card spot behind Anaheim. 2.5 games in front of the Yankees and Toronto coming into the day. Toronto has won their game. The Yankees are still playing in the 14th inning against Texas. That fan's trying to get a "Let's Go Mets" chant going. 2 on for Neuenhuis with 1 out.
Kevin was talking about this ballpark. I think physically this is probably the best booth on the road for us to work in. I mean, just great sight lines. But I was walking all over Seattle today. Tons of Mets fans in their Mets gear.
Well, this is a great place to visit in the summer. Perfect baseball road trip for Met fans. San Diego and Seattle. I'm not sure if we'll see quite as many in Milwaukee, but that's a nice place to be too in the summertime. Here's a nice homecoming story tonight. Jake Odorizzi, St. Louis native, goes to St. Louis for the first time tonight as a big leaguer. Beats the Cardinals for Tampa Bay 7-2. 6 straight wins for the Rays. They have been rolling.
Yeah, Odorizzi has been a big part of that too.
Beat Adam Wainwright tonight.
Playing so well. What do you do with David Price?
Keep him. Here's the 0-2. Up and away. I mean, I know they risked losing him as a free agent at the end of the year, but
it's hard to justify when you're in a race and everyone's in it, like we said in that AL East, to get rid of your best player. Never mind pitcher. Most important player.
Their other most important player, who's not had his best year, Evan Longoria, hit a home run tonight. 12. A lot of guys with home run numbers that are well below what you expect this year. Duda and Darno, the base runners, with 1 out. 1-2 to Neuenhuis. Up and away, 2-2. You mentioned during the open tonight the fact that the Mets during their hot streak were hitting home runs. The Mets have now gone 227 plate appearances without a home run. Haven't had a single one since the All-Star break. Zunino stopping it. Full count.
Another changeup just held on to too long by Ramirez. And we've watched for 2 days the excellence of Zunino behind the plate.
Lennon keeping tabs on his starter, who was brought up just for the 1 start today, has held his own in a big spot here with 1 out, 2 aboard, 3-2 to Neuenhuis. And Kirk goes down swinging for the 3rd time. 2 out.
Well, it's hard to say that just no adjustments to this changeup by Neuenhuis. The 3rd time he's been struck out. The 3rd time it's been a changeup.
So now 2 out and 2 on. 7 strikeouts now for Erasmo Ramirez. And it's left to Juan Lagares, who's walked and struck out tonight, 0 for 1. Would be next.
See the defensive positioning. It's very interesting to me. Look at the outfielder Ackley in left field. Too shallow on the pull side, I think, with Lagares up.
Interesting because he's been playing so deep for most of this series so far. He's had a couple of balls land in front of him. Lagares fouls one at the plate. Let's go to CJ Papa in the studio for a game break brought to you by your local Tri-Honda dealer. All right, CJ. Oh, wait, have you noticed how Grady Sizemore's been hitting the ball for the Phillies?
What a great signing for them.
Rejuvenation, at least for a couple of weeks. Tom Wilhelmsen is up in the bullpen for Seattle. 1-2 to Lagares with 2 out and 2 on, and he gets tied up. He went around strike 3. Well, Erasmo Ramirez gets out of a jam, striking out Nieuwenhuis and Lagares back to back, and keeps it a 2-1 game. Those are the 4. Go Matt Harvey.
If I knew I was going to have this job with all these Elias notes, I would have pitched a lot better when I was with the Mets. That way I could have got on some of these things.
You're in there every now and again. 99 wins as a Met.
Well, what was that line by that Mickey Mantle used? Said if I knew 40-40 was going to be that important, I would have done it every year.
DeGrom ahead on Jones, 1-2. 2-2. Now the 2-2. Lifted to center. Pretty well hit, but Lagares easing back. 1 out. Now Robinson Cano, and DeGrom has taken care of him twice tonight.
Well, just the changeup has been the pitch. The first time he threw it in the dirt, and the second time fastball first pitch for a strike, backdoor slider for a strike, and then that great grip, circle grip, and strikes out Cano again. The problem with Cano, he'll sometimes sit on a pitch, so you've got to be careful this at bat. What I mean by that, he'll sit on that changeup. Best I've ever seen hitter I played with who could sit on pitches, Harold Baines. He would tell you, before, I'm going to sit on a changeup, and if he got it, he didn't miss it. Underrated hitter, right, Gary, when you talk about hitters?
Well, Harold Baines had a fabulous career, but mostly as a DH.
Well, what happened is he had just really bad knees early in his career, and it limited his, because he was a great fielder and great athlete.
2-0 from DeGrom. Changeup fouled at the plate. I mean, Harold Baines was so beloved in Chicago that when the White Sox let him go, and his career wasn't over, he was still playing, they retired his numbers while he was still an active player. That never happens.
He was beloved. Quietest guy ever been around, but he wasn't quiet when he had that bat in his hands.
Two and one to Cano with Kyle Seager on deck. Line the other way. Eric Young right there. 2 out. A bullet off the bat of Cano.
Well, it's the fastball here. Four-seamer trying to ride that pitch in. It leaks back over the middle of the plate, and just a screaming line drive for an out off the bat of Cano.
So 2 out and nobody on. Now Seager, who struck out and walked, 0 for 1. Seager, who went to his first All-Star game this year, one of 4 Mariners who made the All-Star game this season. Of course, Cano and Felix Hernandez and their closer Fernando Rodney. He of the bow and arrow.
He should keep it in its quiver until the 9th inning.
Brown with the 1-2 toward the middle of the diamond, base hit. Now Seager rolling one up the middle for a 2-out single. Just the 4th hit given up by DeGrom.
Well, the little changeup from DeGrom, it was a good pitch. It had Seager out front and really just rolls over this ground ball. But Murphy, see Murphy again, we've caught him a couple times. Because the changeup called, he was leaning to his left, favoring the pull side, and it cost him up the middle.
So the tying run at first with 2 out. And Corey Hart, the batter. Hart has flied out and struck out 0 for 2. So I'm sure you heard the news today that the San Diego Padres traded Chase Headley to the Yankees for Yangervis Solarte and a minor league pitcher. The Yankees play the Rangers tonight, and in the bottom of the 14th inning, Chase Headley, game-winning hit. The Yankees win 2-1.
it's going to be interesting if he can. I mean, when I think of Chase Headley, and this might be unfair, he had one unbelievable second half and hasn't done a lot in any other of the seasons.
Now the argument on Headley's side is that he's been hurt.
Yeah.
Hart pops one up. And Duda can't see it, so Darno can't catch it. Duda spread his arms. It would have been his ball, but he just lost it in the twilight. And Darno could not make up for it.
Well, Duda comes in and he put his head down. Once he looked up, he couldn't find it. This is the one instance, and I'm not going to blame him because it's not his fault. But DeGrom is such a good athlete. He should get more involved in those plays there because he might be able to make that play once Duda lost it. Almost impossible for Darno reaching out that way for the catcher because the ball's working away from him.
Well, the only thing I'd say is that Darno should have gotten rid of the mask at some point.
Got rid of the mask, and he should have tried to get on the other side of it. But I think he assumed at some point that Duda was an easy play for Duda, except he didn't see it.
The problem, of course, with assuming.
Right.
There's the 0-2 curveball laced down the left field line, hooking, foul. That could have been big time trouble for Jacob deGrom. As Hart hooked that curveball just foul.
It's those little plays, and this one goes foul, like you said, Gary. You know, you try to limit the other team to 27 outs on an evening, and you know when you don't make simple plays like that, boy, it puts you in harm's way.
There was no error charged on that play, by the way. But more work for deGrom to try and get through this sixth inning. At 92 pitches for the night. 0-2 to Hart. Fastball fouled off. The Mets 2 runs and 5 hits. The Mariners 1 run and 4 hits. We're at the bottom of the sixth. Again, the 0-2. Got him looking. Side retired. Strikeout number 6 for Jacob deGrom. Let's take a 2-1 lead into the 7th. Series presented by Dwayne Reed. Catch Boys to Men live in concert August 16th. For tickets, visit Mets.com/concerts.
So I've got a feeling I probably missed Huey Lewis in the news.
Over. Final game of this series tomorrow afternoon, 3:30 Eastern Time. Our coverage begins at 3 o'clock. Bartolo Colon against Taijuan Walker in the series finale. Ruben Tejada fouls one off his legs, and he's been hit on the hand by a pitch and hit on the leg by his foul ball. A battered night for Mr. Tejada.
He'll be leaving the ballpark today, walking like an 85-year-old man. Boy, right off the inside part of the shin.
Eric Young on deck, Daniel Murphy behind him. That's got both their runs back in the second. Tejada drove in the second run, but he strikes out here. A season high 9 strikeouts for Erasmo Ramirez.
Well, this is one of the better changeups we've gotten from Ramirez. He has that ability to keep that changeup on a right-handed hitter on that outside corner.
Here's Eric Young, who was 0 for 3 tonight, but made some friends down the left field line. I don't know if all the fans saw it, but when the inning was over, after he crashed into the stands trying to make a catch earlier in the inning, he brought the young man that he crashed into another baseball, and he gave him his wristband.
That's great.
Which was a terrific gesture on EY's part. Getting his first start in 12 days with the crowded Mets outfield. Here's EY. 2 more balls.
Oh, so
a total of 3.
Look at those.
Foul ball too.
Look at those smiles. That's awesome.
And makes up for getting crunched by the opposition left fielder. And Murphy on deck. One, 2. Lifted foul. Well, Erasmo Ramirez, I think, has already given the Mariners a lot more than they would have expected. His one-day return to the big leagues. Likely to go back down to the minors tomorrow. 1-2, and he strikes out Eric Young. 10 strikeouts for Ramirez. That matches his career high, and he has struck out 4 in a row.
Fastball inside, spotted perfectly by Ramirez.
In fact, it's the second time tonight that Ramirez has struck out 4 Mets in a row. Last night, the Mets struck out 12 times against Roenis Elias and the bullpen. There's Murphy, 1 for 3, an infield hit off Ramirez's foot. Well, one long game resolved tonight on that Headley hit for the Yankees. They're still playing in Philadelphia in the bottom of the 13th. Giants and Phillies tied at 5, well past midnight now. While the Nationals trying to close out the Rockies, 7-4 in the bottom of the 9th. Washington leads in Denver. Braves lost tonight, so the Nats can go up by 2 games in the East if they win. 0-2 to Murphy, and the changeup outside. Mariners bullpen is ready if Ramirez needs help, but he's trying to finish off this 7th inning on his own. 1-2. Tapped slowly. Seager on the charge. Side retired. Quite a job by Erasmo Ramirez. 7 strong innings, but the Mets with a 2-1 lead at the 7th inning stretch. Another stellar start so far tonight for Jacob deGrom as you look at his Mazda line. 2-1 lead as we start the bottom of the 7th. Logan Morrison leads off for Seattle. Morrison 0 for 2 tonight. He was robbed of a hit by David Wright back in the 2nd, a diving play. Morrison, Bloomquist, and Ackley due up for Seattle. Erasmo Ramirez, 7 terrific innings on the other side. His work is done for the night after 114 pitches. Reason to smile for him. Ball and a strike to Morrison.
Like it was his birthday today. Mets made Ramirez look like Felix Hernandez tonight.
It'll be his birthday if the Mariners can get him 2 runs here. Danny Eveland will stay busy in the Mets bullpen. deGrom at 96 pitches for the night, pitching for the first time in 9 days. You know, there'd been conversation about maybe deGrom taking a stint in the bullpen for 10 days coming out of the break to limit his pitch counts and his innings. But he's been going so well as a starter that how can you do that?
I mean, you're a team that's fighting to win ball games.
Murphy slides over to his left and he throws out Morrison for the first out. Well, deGrom right now is as good a starting pitcher as the Mets have. It would be hard to pull him out of the rotation for any time.
I just always laugh at these conversations because you have a team that's really struggling to get wins. One of your best pitchers, you're talking about maybe shutting him down. Well, tonight he's been outstanding. The one thing I love about deGrom is that we've seen him pitch in tight games, and he just does not crack. You know, we've seen him in the last 2 games. You said he had 17 runs in the last 2 starts before tonight, but he's pitched in a lot of these tight games. He likes to compete in these tight games. That's something you can't teach.
Broken bat grounder by Bloomquist. Tejada on it and quickly 2 out. Well, not just tight games, but tight situations. You go back to the first inning. He gave up a bad hit to Andy Chavez. Runner at second, and the 3 and 4 hitters come up, and he strikes out Cano and Seager, and battles his way through a tough situation early in the game.
And the one thing that he's improved in the big leagues, his secondary pitches have gotten better since he's been here, and he's also started to limit his walks. Walks were a problem in his first half dozen starts, not so much now.
Only 1 walk tonight to go with 6 strikeouts. Dustin Ackley takes the strike. Tom Wilhelmsen, who they're talking about using as a starter, has pitched a complete game in the bullpen tonight.
Like Matsuzaka last night.
Yeah. Except he had his hat on the whole time. 1-1 to Ackley, who's driven in the only Seattle run tonight. He drove one to right center to get Bloomquist home. Those are deGrom's numbers starting the night, and they've only gotten better. Past the glove of deGrom and into center field. A 2-out hit for Ackley, who is really raking in this series. Now 5 hits and 7 at bats.
What's interesting is just a straight fastball by deGrom. Ackley, very unusual hitter. Kind of his body flies out, but his bat stays back.
So now Mike Zunino with a tying run at first and 2 out. 5 hits for now for Seattle against deGrom. Zunino is grounded to short, fly to left, 0 for 2. Ackley 3 stolen bases on the year. Leads off first. And that just missed, ball 1. So deGrom up over 100 pitches now. You've got left-hand hitters to follow. So if he doesn't get Zunino out, this might be the end of the line for him with Danny Eveland up in the bullpen. Popped up foul coming back this way. And out of play.
Travis got rid of the mouse that time.
Well, there was nobody else in position to catch him. Nothing to assume. They've gone to the 14th in Philadelphia. Giants and Phillies still tied at 5. How many people do you think are left in that ballpark? Good slider by deGrom, and he gets ahead on Zunino, 1-2.
And just the Mets alone, the Phillies have played a lot of extra innings, haven't they? Good pitch by deGrom, down and away. Zunino likes that ball middle of the plate, in and up.
One, two. Low and in. 2-2. The Nats have won. Adam LaRoche homered, drove in 3. They beat Colorado 7-4. Washington up 2 games now on Atlanta.
On the day that Colorado lost Tulowitzki to the DL.
2-2. Got him. Jacob deGrom strikes out Mike Zunino. 7 punch-outs for deGrom in 7 innings. Another stellar effort for Jacob deGrom. He had it working tonight. 2-1 Mets after 7. Courage. This is the Mazda way by State Farm. Today's State Farm agent of the game is Pat Cauley of Glendale, New York. Contact Pat's office at patcauley.com. And by Pepsi. For more of MLB's most thrilling moments, check out MLB.com/Pepsi. Tom Wilhelmsen will come on to pitch for the Mariners in the 8th inning.
Well, he's one of those guys that can give you an inning or more. 10 of his last 14 appearances have been 2 innings or more here in the 8th inning to pitch against the Mets.
He made 1 start for the Mariners, and in fact, as recently as yesterday, Lloyd McClendon was considering starting him tomorrow, but instead they're going to call up Taijuan Walker to make that start. David Wright leads off the 8th inning and bounces 1 out to short. Nice big hop for Bloomquist. 1 pitch and 1 out for Wilhelmsen in the 8th.
I think McClendon's got to be a little afraid of disrupting that bullpen. That's been the best in baseball, at least the ERA wise.
With Lucas Duda, 1 for 3, singled and stole a base in the 6th inning. Well, with Wilhelmsen, he doesn't give up many hits. 53 innings, 32 hits, but 25 walks. So he's a guy who sometimes loses the strike zone. Jerry's familiar, getting ready to pitch the bottom of the 8th after 7 tremendous innings from Jacob deGrom. Big shift on against Duda, who takes low and in for ball 1. And they overlap the 3rd baseman Seager onto the right side of the infield. And lead the shortstop Bloomquist alone on the left side with Robinson Cano 30 feet into the outfield. Off the plate to Duda. 2 and out. Erasmo Ramirez went 7 innings, allowed 2 runs, 5 hits, 2 walks, 10 strikeouts, matching his career high. 2-hit batsman, but leads trailing 2-1 because DeGrom was just that much better. 3-0 now to Duda.
Two big boys going at it right here, huh? Williamson and Duda.
Helmson, 6'6", 220. 4 more.
Yeah.
There's a strike, 3-1.
Duda cracks one to deep right field. Forget it. That is way out of here. Off the auxiliary scoreboard. A monster shot. The big Lebowski, and it's 3-1 New York. Wow. Number 15 for Duda, and that was massive.
Nothing better than getting to a 3-1 count, thinking you're going to get a fastball, and he got it right down the middle.
She got 2 times through the car wash for that one. That was very impressive.
I mean, right down the middle, splits the plate. And that's one of the longest home runs we've seen Lucas Duda hit in his career. Surprised Williamson watched that. No need to.
With that wry smile on his face, he knew. Well, the Mets had gone 5.5 games, 232 plate appearances before Duda cracked that home run. The first for the Mets since the All-Star break.
Huge run, too. Gives Familia a little bit of breathing room.
1-2 to Abreu. It was 1 for 3 on the night. Travis d'Arnaud waits on deck. He had one over the fence last night.
He did, but it was brought back.
It's not far enough over the fence. I asked Travis, I said, did you think he got it? He said, I did get it. I said, I hit it over the fence. What more am I supposed to do?
That's funny.
Age of shifts, it's interesting to see how you defend a player like Abreu. Absolutely no shift.
Yeah.
About as straight up at every position as you can be, because that's the kind of hitter he is.
What did I think of Lloyd McClendon? I always think back to that Little League World Series in '71. His Gary, Indiana team. He hit, he had 5 home runs on 5 swings, as we intentionally walked 5 times.
Respect at 12 years old.
Right.
So you're saying he was the Todd Frazier of his day.
Legendary Lloyd is what they called him in those days.
He was like Sean Burroughs.
That's right.
Lloyd McClendon, who was originally signed by the Mets and then traded by the Mets.
In the John Franco trade?
The John Franco trade. With Randy Myers. Excuse me, not the John Franco trade.
No.
Went to the Tom Seaver trade, and the Mets got that Seaver back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Mixed up your Mets icon.
Yes.
2-2. Breaking ball, and he lays off. Full count to Abreu. So he's having one of those classic Bobby Abreu at bats. Well, the Giants have just scored 4 runs in the top of the 14th inning in Philadelphia. They'll try to stay in first place for another day. Start of the day. Percentage points ahead of the Dodgers, who lost tonight. Wilhelmsen using all of the 6-6 plus his reach to throw out Abreu, 2 out. Short pitcher on the mound. That's a hit.
Got to know where to hit it.
So now 2 out. Here's d'Arnaud, who was nicked by a pitch his last time up. Tripled in the first Met run. Hit a sinking liner to center. James Jones tried to make the shoestring catch. It went underneath him, and d'Arnaud had his first major league triple. He takes a fastball strike from Wilhelmsen.
It's really been the difference in this game, right? That play.
Well, if he keeps it in front of him, there's a chance that Erasmo Ramirez gets out of that inning. Instead, the Mets got 2 runs. d'Arnaud lifts one to right, easy for Endy Chavez, and that retires the side. But Lucas Duda hits one a long way. Duda's 15th home run of the year, off the auxiliary scoreboard. A massive shot for Duda makes it 3-1 New York in the 8th. Active with SNY Game Day on SNY.TV, featuring pitch-by-pitch coverage, player cards, and in-depth stats. Check out SNY Game Day on SNY.TV, your online home of all things New York sports. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Jacob deGrom's work is done after 7 terrific innings, and Jay Reese-Familia on to replace him.
Well, no one's been any hotter than Jay Reese-Familia. He's only given up 1 earned run his last 17 and 2/3 innings pitched.
They'll face the top of the batting order: Endy Chavez, James Jones, and Robinson Cano in the bottom of the 8th. Endy is 1 for 3 tonight at a base hit leading off the first inning against deGrom. Jacob deGrom, 107 pitches tonight, 1 run, 5 hits, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts. And if he gets a win tonight, he will have done something that no Met rookie has done since Jerry Koosman. 3 straight starts going at least 7, allowing 1 run or less. Jerry Koosman is the last Met rookie to do that in 1968.
Wow.
To get a win, go 7 and allow 1 run or less in 3 straight starts. So DeGrom going places that Met rookies have rarely gone. Chavez drives one deep center field. Lagares back on the track. He runs it down. Another gem for Juan Lagares, where extra base hits go to die.
And with a smile too. He just like shot out of a cannon. He's playing him to left field. He's playing him shallow, and he catches that ball that was a shot right on the warning track.
I mean, he's playing shallow. It's right over his head. Degree of difficulty incredibly hard, and he makes it look easy.
His quickness defensively is better than his quickness offensively when he runs the bases.
James Jones takes a strike.
But you don't say probably Eric Young is the fastest Met over 60 meters, let's say. But it'd be interesting to see who's quick from a stop, complete stop, running 30 yards to get a ball, or 20 yards.
You would think at some point that would translate into base stealing ability, but it hasn't yet for them. Now, of course, there's so many other factors involved in being a good base stealer, other than quickness and other than sheer speed.
Confidence, which comes with knowing the pitchers.
Reading the pitchers.
Yep.
Jones fouls one at the plate. 1-2.
And you just don't know how valuable that is to give up a bolt like that to a leadoff hitter. And when you let it go that it's a triple, double or a triple, you just know it. And your center fielder comes away with the catch.
By the way, we just got the estimated distance on Duda's home run. 446 feet.
Wow. 446.
446 feet. That's farther than the one Grandal hit in San Diego. That was 440. He's a very strong man. 2-2. Got him. Familia strikes out James Jones for the second out.
Well, he's got that sinking action on his fastball, and it's so good that he can get swing and misses. Most guys that have sinking action will produce ground balls. Familia produces strikeouts.
So 2 out. Now Robinson Cano has struck out twice and hit a bullet to left that was caught. And Cano badly over that sinker.
It's like he guessed first pitch fastball. He got it, but it wasn't in his zone. And a weak cut.
More notes on DeGrom tonight. DeGrom lowered his ERA for the season to 3.01 through 13 starts.
Outstanding.
He's now gone 52 2/3 innings without allowing a home run. Which is the third longest. Well, it was the third longest current streak coming into the night, behind Adam Wainwright and John Lester. I think Wainwright gave up a home run tonight. Wainwright did not give up a home run tonight. Longoria's home run came against the bullpen. So his streak is still intact. Quick pitch up the stairs, 1-2.
So DeGrom has made it look easy. He's throwing strikes with 4 pitches. He's pitching good in clutch situations with runners in scoring position. He's not walking people like he was earlier in the year.
1-2 to Cano. Fouls off the slider.
And anytime you're a rookie and your ERA after 13 starts is around that 3 mark, that's real special.
Yep. Carlos Torres joins Danny Eveland in the bullpen. Down to 1-2. Down the way. So Wainwright's homerless streak is now at 59 2/3. DeGrom at 52 2/3. Longest active streaks in the National League. It's nice company to be in.
Boy. Well, a lot of credit has to go to Danny Worthen. He's in charge. When you get in charge of so many good arms, it's a lot of responsibility to be the caretaker of young pitchers.
Getting a quick pitch, and it's fouled away. Or did we resolve just to call that the Latroit?
Yeah, why not?
Well, the one thing that DeGrom's success reminds you is that you just never know until guys get to the big leagues and perform on this stage. Tapper back to Familia, and he's got himself a 1-2-3 inning with some help from Juan Lagares. On to the ninth we go in Seattle, 3-1 New York. All right, gentlemen, we start the ninth inning with Kirk Neuenhuis at the plate against Tom Wilhelmsen. Rough night for Neuenhuis. 3 at-bats, 3 strikeouts against Erasmo Ramirez, trying to avoid the dreaded golden sombrero, which was fitted for Curtis Granderson last night. Off the outside corner, 2-0, your Ford Mets box score. First major league triple for Travis d'Arnaud. A monstrous home run for Lucas Duda, highlighting the Mets offense tonight. Wilhelmsen behind Neuenhuis 2-0 with Lagares and Tejada to follow. And Kirk with a good swing fouls it back. Best cut he's out all night. Henry Mejia getting ready for the save opportunity in the bottom of the ninth. After 7 terrific innings from Jacob deGrom and a 1-2-3/8 from J. Reese Familia. Wilhelmsen in his second inning of relief gave up the home run to Duda in the 8th. And Nieuwenhuis takes the off-speed pitch outside, 3-1. 30-year-old Tom Wilhelmsen. Sounds like there's one extra syllable.
Yeah, right.
Knuckleballers in history had the last name Wilhelm.
That's why. Watch the catcher's eyes. Zunino closes in there at the last minute. That was a nasty sinker by Wilhelmsen.
3-2 to Nieuwenhuis. And he's able to lay off. Stopped it in time. Ball 4. Doug Eddings with the call down at third. Third walk the Mets have drawn tonight.
That two-seam at bottom dropping out, but Kirk able to stay back.
Cadillac drive around the majors. Jonathan Lucroy hit 2 home runs, including the game winner in the bottom of the 9th for Milwaukee. Anthony Rizzo hit 2 home runs for the Cubs, and Kyle Hendricks went 7 scoreless to beat the Padres. And I mentioned Jake Odorizzi winning back in his hometown of St. Louis for the Rays.
The Chicago first basemen are doing all right in the power department this year. Jose Abreu and Anthony Rizzo in Chicago.
Not that that has helped their teams have stellar years, but at least giving them a lot of hope for the future. Came up a bit, Lagares. Did it hit him in the face?
I think it did. Hit him in the cheek. Ooh, right off the side of the face.
Man. Get your attention. Like a left cross. For a ball rolled down to Seager. Out at second. Turned by Cano, and they get the double play. Beautifully done by Seager and Cano for the 5-4-3.
Well, Seager does a nice job of getting it to Cano, but Cano is the best in the business on turning the double play. Not only does he get rid of it, but he's got like a shortstop's arm, an outfielder's arm. So powerful.
2-time Gold Glover at second base. And knows how to avoid the contact with minimal effort as well. So just like that, 2 out and nobody on for Ruben Tejada. Ruben 1 for 2. He's also been hit by a pitch. He's driven in a run tonight.
Going to probably lead the team in ice bags after the game. Ruben Tejada.
Getting the left hand by a pitch. Banged a foul ball off his shin. I don't know. Lagares may have an ice pack on his face when this game was over. Seager, Hart, and Morrison due up in the 9th inning for Seattle, with Mejia getting ready to face them. Let's try to snap a 3-game losing streak and get to 2-3 on this road trip. Eric Young would be next. Good pitchers duel tonight between DeGrom and Erasmo Ramirez. DeGrom with the upper hand, and now the Mets hoping to get 3 more outs to secure it. 1-2. Your AT&T fan photo for tonight comes from Zozo. Big David Wright fan here in Seattle.
It'll be hard to beat the orange and blue truck from yesterday.
It was quite the paint job, wasn't it? Mets 3 runs and 6 hits. The Mariners 1 run and 5 hits. 2-2 from Wilhelmsen. And he strikes out Tejada to end the inning. That sends us off to the bottom of the 9th. Off to Mejia land. Mets up 3-1 in Seattle. Last of the ninth inning in Seattle, and Henry Mejia on to try and close it out.
Trying to go for his 12th save. 5 wins to go with those saves that he got mostly from his time as a starter.
Got the save on Friday night in the first game after the All-Star break in San Diego. Has not pitched since. They'll get Kyle Seager, Corey Hart, and Logan Morrison for the Mariners in the bottom of the ninth. Arizona got 2 in the bottom of the 8th. 2-run hit by Miguel Montero to beat Detroit 5-4. Cleveland won, so Detroit's lead is 5.5 in that AL Central, which is the most lopsided division in baseball right now. Every other division going into the night was 4 games or closer.
Detroit's an interesting team because when you go into the season, you're thinking of them as one of the teams that's a favorite to go to the World Series. But not if Verlander's pitching like he's pitching this year, and like he pitched in the first half. I mean, he saved his whole season last year with his postseason performances.
Well, he hasn't pitched up to snuff. Neither is Anibal Sanchez. Right. Scherzer's held up his end, and Porcello's given them that boost.
They got rid of Fister because they thought Smiley would pick up the slack, but he's been up and down.
The Giants finally closed out the Phillies 9-6 the final in 14 innings. After the Phillies got the tying run and played in the bottom of the 14th. So here's Kyle Seager, 1 for 2 and a walk tonight. Leading off against Henry Mejia in the last of the ninth. And the curveball to start him off for a strike. Jacob deGrom went 7, allowed a run on 5 hits. He's in line for his 4th win. Corey Hart on deck, Logan Morrison behind him. Jerry's Familia worked a 1-2-3/8, and now Mejia trying to get the Mets a victory. Another breaking ball and a strike to Seager.
So interesting about the game of baseball that Mejia making the team as a 20-year-old and going in the bullpen stalled his career. And maybe this might be the rejuvenation of his career, being back as a closer.
The thing about it is, he's 24. I mean, it's almost shocking when you think about all the things that Henry's been through. Brought up at the age of 20, mishandled in the bullpen that year. Shoulder problems, elbow problems, going into the starting role, going back to the bullpen, back to starting again. Won the 5th starter's job in spring training this year, reluctantly going to the bullpen, and now anchoring what has become a huge asset for this team, this revamped bullpen. 1-2 to Seager. Murphy in front of it. 1 out.
Well, in today's game, you cannot win without a strong bullpen. That's an obvious statement. But what you like to have is kind of what the Mets have now. A lot of their talent from the minor leagues that had been starting pitchers look better in their relief roles. And I'm talking about the 2 pitchers tonight, Familia and Mejia. They might not have dominant stuff over a 7-inning role, but for 1 inning they do.
There's Corey Hart. And when you combine Mejia, Familia, Black, Edgin, all younger pitchers with good stuff, now you got a couple of guys also out there who can give you multiple innings in Daisuke and in Torres.
And Evelyn.
You can throw Evelyn into that mix too. Got pretty good balance. There's the 1-0. Slider outside.
What I don't like is when you have a team where every reliever you bring in, they're all the same. You know, even if they throw 92 with a hard slider, everyone's different. From Mejia with that cutting action on his fastball and breaking pitches, Familia with that great sink. Evelyn's crafty. You know, there's a lot of different things. The cutter of Torres.
Well, it's not often that a bullpen starts out the season as a huge liability, is revamped on the fly, and basically turned over in 2 months, and lands on its feet the way this one has. There's a strike 3-1. The other example you can point to of that is last year's National League champions. The Cardinals had a mess in their bullpen at the beginning of the year, turned it over almost completely, and wound up in the World Series.
That's right. Rosenthal closing because Mott hurt himself. Segrest, hard throwing lefty.
Manus. 3-1. And he walked him. And the Mariners will get the tying run to the plate of the ninth. So Hart is on base with a 1-out walk. We'll get a pinch runner. Stephen Romero will run for Hart at first base.
It's Andy Van Slyke, first base coach. What a heck of a player he was.
I was just going to say Scott Van Slyke's dad is coaching first.
That's true.
It's funny how on a team with Andre Ethier and Yasiel Puig and Matt Kemp, sometimes Scott Van Slyke winds up playing center field. Here's Logan Morrison, and he takes a strike. Morrison's 0 for 3 tonight, robbed by David Wright his first time up on a hard ground ball. Since then he's popped up and grounded out. Tying run at the plate. Morrison 5 home runs this year.
Back to Mejia. To second for 1, on to first, double play, and the ball game is over. Mejia was unsure at first, but he starts the 1-6-3 double play that gives the Mets the victory as he saves it for Jacob deGrom.